Alt Funds Global presents Monetizing Standby Letters of Credit Correctly.
Monetizing standby letters of credit. I'm going to tell you how to do it correctly. You've got to watch this video.
All of the information presented is for entertainment and information purposes only. Nothing discussed constitutes legal or accounting advice, an offer or solicitation of financial services, or financial advice of any kind. Our goal is to showcase alternative vehicles to raise capital. At no point will we be soliciting any investment programs.
Hi, it's Taimour Zaman from Alt Funds Global. My organization helps accredited investors leverage their assets, their cash, stamina, grants, so on to access capital the banks are primarily offering their VIP cards. We can do this because of our experience in structured financing, because of our relationships with banks and the volume of transactions we give them. The capital my clients are getting allows them to grow their business, buy auxiliary businesses, and do something called project funding. So friends, I'm sure you've heard about this thing called SBLCs, standby credit. Sometimes you hear BGs, bank guarantees, from my Joker brokers. And they'll tell you we can do project funding. We can give you like $50 million, $500 million, or some ridiculous amount of number. And only if you deposit like $5. I mean, you ask them, how is it that you're going to promise me $50 million, $500 million, $300 million based on me depositing, I don't know, $10 million or $500,000, $300,000, and then they introduce you to a concept called standby letters of credit. If you're like me, you pick up your telephone, you call your bank, you say, what's the SBLC? And your bank will tell you, yeah, it's these banking instruments we provide as a guarantee for payment in case you default. And the fact that a bank guarantees payment for client defaults, there's value in that. And so the people that understand how to store value, how to sell value, how to leverage value to create credit facilities like that. And that's where it becomes complicated. I've been in my business for just over 10 years. I have a lot of white hair. And figure out how to issue standby credit, monetize SBLCs like that. If you are willing to go to our website, altfundsglobal.com, and check out our online store, you can subscribe or get a course, pre-recorded course we've done where we show you actual case studies of SBLCs. I show you the actual SBLCs that we've issued or monetized. I get a banker we work with come and say, yes, I work with Taimour and his clients have issued SBLCs. I get a monetizer. It's all in a pre-recorded video that we do with our audiences. Here's the procedure. So anyways, a little bit about my expertise in that area, and I've written a book called Standby Letters of Credit, How to Turn Paper into Profit. You can get a copy of the book from Amazon, or if you go to our website, go to our online store, you'll get a copy of all my books. So I'm going to talk about Standby Letters of Credit. I want to share with you how to do it correctly. I'll give you some basic tips that you need to know, and give you some tips on how to avoid fraud so that you can get liquidity, the project funding that you are aspiring to get through the Joker brokers you work with. Alternatively, you can contact our organization. The problem with contacting our organization is two things. If I'm the one picking up the phone, I have a dry sense of humor. You got to deal with that one. Second one is we also don't work for free. We charge money for our experience, expertise, our banking relationships like that. So, Joker brokers, Alt Funds Global, or if you have a trusted provider, that. So I'm going to talk about standby letters of credit. So, standby letter of credit is one of the most desirable banking instrument in the world. It's recognized, acknowledged by all banks around the world. It's a protocol process where the bank steps in to make a payment in case somebody defaults. Really, in a nutshell, that's what it is. If you can get a standby of credit from a well-known bank like Barclays, HSBC, the value of the standby credit is a lot higher compared to the no-name Bank of Iraq as a comparison. If the value of the stammer of credit is $500 million, it's worth more compared to $5,000 stammer of credit. If the issuing city is London, Barclays London, as an example, is worth more versus if it was in a village in Africa. So I can tell you from somebody who spent dedicated over 10 years of his life in this area, stammer's credit, understanding and mastering it, the learning for me and people like me is really amazing. And it's the cash, the capital you get, if you ask me, is life altering. That's just my cold note opinion that I just want to share with you. Now, a lot of our clients are credit investors. Oftentimes they need 20 million, 50 million, 80 million to do something called project funding. And conventional banks, retail banks are not willing to bet that much of money on their project. And so they look for something called alternative source of capital. When you reach your alternative source of capital industry, you hear people like me, I don't have 2 competitors, I have 2 billion competitors and 2 million coming every day and another 5 million going bankrupt every other day, like that kind of thing. If you're looking for project funding, oftentimes you'll hear are in the alternative funding industry that the vehicle that alternative funders use to give you the funding, 20 million to 50 million, the sum amount that you're looking for, is to the issuance and monetization of something called stammer's credit. In a nutshell, what it is that you're going to somebody who's got $500 million or some amount of money, and you're asking them for a fee to block money in their account and issue a stammer of credit. You take that stammer of credit, you sell the stammer of credit, for lack of a better word, to a lower tier bank, and you create value out of that. Imagine, I live in Canada. In Canada, we don't manufacture Toyota cars. Toyota cars are manufactured in Japan. So there's a lot of people who are in the import-export business, and they'll take Toyota cars from Japan and import them to Canada. They create value, they make money out of that. A lot of people who export oil from countries that export oil and import into countries that need oil. A lot of people that export sugar, rice, commodities that from countries that need these things to countries that don't have rice, sugar, oil, like that. Stammer credit, the issuance and monetization is the same concept. You're taking a stammer credit from a top tier bank. You are selling it to a lower tier bank. Out of that, you create value. The profit margin is what's used to fund entrepreneurs. Banks primarily have 2 reasons to issue stammer's credit. One is for import-export, the other one is for something called credit enhancement. The issuance and monetization of stammer of credit for entrepreneurs that need funding falls into a category called credit enhancements. Unfortunately, this is an industry that has a lot of fraud in it. It's a beautiful industry. I've made a lot of money out of it. I've helped a lot of my clients make money out of this. However, it's also full of fraud. That's one of the biggest issues a lot of my clients deal with. I have done a lot of videos on how to avoid fraud. I'm going to skip giving information that I've already published before. We'll talk about the issuance and monetization of stammer's credit correctly. Imagine that you are going to give me an asset. And let's say the asset is a car. You probably want a contract from me. The contract would say you're going to give me a car. The car has 4 doors. Maybe it has a rooftop. It has AC, has 19 speakers. I need to know the details of the car. And the contract with me is that when you give me the car, I'm going to give you something called cash. That's pretty easy. Most people understand that. When it comes to stammer's credit issuance and monetization of it, often, not always, it's called DOA, deed of agreement. So the person who's receiving the asset, the stammer credit, will give you something called deed of agreement. Typically, there's 5 things that must happen that you need to be aware of. And I want to just take the fraud aspect and put that aside. Assuming you follow my fraud protocol, you've got a legitimate issuer, a legitimate monetizer, here's the process. I want to imagine you want to give me a car. First, I need to know the details of the car. What's the car? What's the model of the car? How many mileage does the car have? Is it an Acura or is it a Ford? Is it new? Is it used? Like that. Same thing, that's what it goes into a deed of agreement, the contract. So I'm going to give you some amount of credit. Is it cash back? Is it transferable? Is it revocable? Is it backed by assets? Who's the issuing bank? What's the face value? Like that. So I need the details of the asset you're going to give me. Imagine you're giving me the car. Same thing as I need that in a contract with the SBLC. So it's called deed of agreement. Standard of credit is what we're going to give you. It's by this bag. It's backed by cash, backed by assets. It's transferable, like things like that. The deed of agreement is not a contract that's open all the time. The deed of agreement is a contract that expires. If you are going to give me a car and I'm going to give you some money for the car, I need to know when you're going to deliver the car to me. Are you going to deliver it to me on Monday at 3 p.m. or Friday at 10 a.m.? We need to have a contract that says that. I cannot give you a contract willy-nilly, hoping, praying that you're going to deliver the asset to me at some time in the future. It doesn't work that way. There are a lot of joker brokers in places like Africa, India, like that, who will tell you they're experts in structured financing. You'll hear fraudulent words like they have a direct mandate from HSBC Bank, some bullshit like that. HSBC Bank has been in existence for hundreds of years, and I promise you they don't need a joker broker with a Gmail address and a WhatsApp phone number to issue SBLCs. I can promise you that HSBC Bank, but they don't need these joker brokers. So when you're working with a legitimate provider, legitimate monetizer, what you should be expecting is something called deed of agreement. It's pretty much a contract. What you need to know is that contract, generally speaking, has an expiry date. We will take a standby of credit from the issuing bank that you're giving us to, and it should have an expiration date. The next thing you need to know, and you need to make sure, is you need to know or get somebody's KYC, know your client form. The other name for it is called CIS, Customer Information Sheet. So if I'm the one, if I imagine I have $500 million, I'm going to block 100 million of my 500 million and issue a standby letter of credit. You're going to take the standby of credit that I'm issuing and you're going to give it to what's called a monetizer, and you give it to a monetizer to either get a loan on it, or you're going to sell the standby of credit at a discount price and get liquidity out of it, or you're going to give it to a trade desk and trade on it. There's like 5,000 things you can do. I want to let you know, as somebody who's been in business for over 10 freaking years and has all white hair to prove it, that when you want to get into this type of business, the guy who's issuing a standby of credit you should give them their CIS or KYC from them. What's your name? What's your passport information? What's your incorporation documents? If I run a company called Alphonse Global and I issue standby of credit, I should have something called incorporation documents. Use the year I incorporated my corporation. That's what you would need from the issuer. Guess what? You need the exact same thing for the monetizer. The company that's receiving the instrument and giving it to their bank, they have to have incorporation paperwork. You should have a KYC, CIS, a principal that you should be able to get their ID from. It's called KYC or CIS. What you do is you take the CIS of the issuer, you give it to the monetizer. You ask the monetizer when you do that you're spending the same, and you give it to the issuer. Issuer and monetizer need to have each other's CIS. Why? Because one guy is selling $500 million to a complete stranger and then knowing it to a different bank, to a different country, something like that. They should have, I don't want to use the word business card, but they should have their CIS so they know who they are doing business with. That's really important. If I'm doing this for myself, I really insist on something called hands-on approach, hands-on deck approach, where when we're going to issue and monetize the SBLC, I want them to be on the same phone call with me. The phone calls at 2 a.m., 6 a.m., I will be on that call at 2 a.m. or 6 a.m. If I'm training joker brokers who pay us a lot of money to train them, I'm telling them, put your alarm on. At 1:30, you're on the phone at 2 a.m. You want to make sure the issuer and the monetizer are all online, ready, available, like that, because we're going to send 100 million, 500 million, some amount of money SBLC from the issuer to the monetizer. So that's really important for you to know. Next one is languaging. Oftentimes, one way you can avoid fraud is to make sure the contract is legit and it reads right. Standards of credit are usually by default are 1 year, 1 day. So if you get a contract that says we're going to issue a standard of credit for 2 years, that should be a red flag. If you get a contract that has spelling mistakes, that should be a massive red flag. Banks, when they issue contracts, they don't have spelling mistakes. So that's like something that's really important to know. So a couple of key steps, 5 steps for you to know. One is that you want to always ask for a deed of agreement from the issuer and the monetizer. You want to get their CIS from the issuer and monetizer. You want to give it to each other. Third one, you want to have a hands-on deck transaction when the instrument is being issued. The guy who is issuing the instrument should say, I'm going to be issuing it on Monday between 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Great. The monetizer needs to know they should be receiving the instrument on Monday between 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., maybe 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., something like that. But this is a scheduled, coordinated activity. Where a lot of clients unfortunately get frauded is because they don't understand the process and procedure. They think by giving some I shouldn't say stranger, their buddy, the guy they trust, their next door freaking neighbor, $500,000, $5 million, $5 trillion. I don't care how much money you're giving to your buddy. You're trusting them. Look, I've done some of these transactions. They never go the way that they should go. You want to have a hands-on-deck approach, and the contract should say, hey, when I'm issuing the standard of credit, you are going to be on the call available at that. The bankers on each side need to know it. So KYC, CIS, DOA, hands-on deck, those are the things that are important. Languaging, make sure there's no spelling mistakes at that. Now I want to tell you the last thing. A lot of our clients who come to us and they want to do the buy, sell of standard credit, issuance of standard credit, monetization of standard credit, oftentimes are coming to us because they need project funding. I'm telling you, setting these things up takes a very, very, very long time. I am telling you, setting these things up will take a very, very long time. I have idiots, excuse my language, who think that by paying me or pay my compare some amount of money, I'm going to call my banker and my monetizer, and all of a sudden, magically this happens. I promise you, this industry magically does not exist. I've been in my business for 10 years. Magically does not exist. It takes a lot of time for some banker that I actually have a relationship with to fill up an application for I'm going to a legitimate bank. You know when you want to apply for a mortgage from a bank, you know the 5,000 pages of documents you need to fill up. Getting a standard of credit, what would make you think this is different? What will make you think this is different? We have a lot of, excuse my language, idiots who think that because I have a relationship with a bank, I'm going to call my bank or I'm going to text them, hey, can you sell $500 million standard of credit? That's bullshit. Somebody has to go through the 5,000 page application as if you're applying for a mortgage. I want a standard of credit. Why? There's a cash back as a bank. How much cash are you putting in? Like, it's a process to go through to get a deed of agreement from a legitimate bank when you're working with a legitimate organization. Same thing happens with the monetization time. It takes time. So if you want to get 20 million, 50 million, 100 million, I'm here to tell you, you don't even have to trust me. You can go do our online course, pre-recorded course, and see 21 different modules. We show your case studies we've done. We actually show you. We've done these types of case studies, examples. It takes time. So I wouldn't count my chickens until it's hatched. People on a flyer, joker brokers will say, well, within 7 days, we've got this handle. Within 10 days, within 30 days, we've got this handle. Maybe. If the issuance and monetization of standard of credit is already scheduled, yeah, you can do it in 30 days, 45 days, something like that. But if somebody says this will be done within a week, you tell them, some guy called Taimour Zaman said, you're a fraudster, you're bullshitting. And then what you do is you call 1-800, the white collar crime division of FBI, and you report people who lie. My personal opinion. By the way, if you want the phone numbers at the bottom of my website, right at the bottom, we put the fraud office of FBI. I hope this gives you some value. I want to tell you, I've been in this for a long time. It's a lot of fun. You have to have a thick skin. You have to have relationships. You have to know what you're doing, how you're doing, and so on. If you want to engage some assistant in this industry, if this is new, we have a service called advisory services. Advisory services, where you're paying a monthly retainer. You are paying a monthly retainer for my team, but you're getting somebody who has some expertise in this area to assist. We'll pick up the phone. As long as you have the funds for the SBLC, like you can't come to the table with empty pockets. Like if you want a Lamborghini or some asset for $500 million, you should come to the table with at least $3 million in your pocket ready to go for banking. These are banking fees, not our fees. For somebody to issue a stamp of credit, for somebody to monetize stamp of credit, like that. We have a service called advisory services. I've seen a lot of value from clients because they get access to people like me. Like that, hey Taimour, here's where I am with this. Taimour, what do you think? Taimour, can you look at this document? Or Taimour's team, can you look at this document, like that? That's something I highly recommend. If you don't want to go with us, because we are a premium boutique shop, we do have some expertise, and I charge money for my time, and my team charges money for expertise like that. If you don't want to go with that, that's perfectly fine. There's a lot of people who watch my videos 1,000 times. They send me videos, emails, messages all the time. I probably get at least one a week from somebody who says, I've been watching your content, reading your book. You have changed my career. People like that may be looking for some experience or a case study to work on, and so they may not be as expensive as we are, and they may be working on commission basis. Could be a really good option for you. Third option, I wouldn't recommend it, but if you think I'm really handsome, I have at any given time, 4, 5, 10 fraudsters who download my picture. They create fake profiles of me on social media, and then they sell bullshit to people, fraudulent people. We have one domain, alphonsglobal.com, not alphonsglobal.games, not alphonsglobal.finance, not alphonsglobal.hsbc bank, some bullshit like that. It's alphonsglobal.com. So fraudsters who copy my picture, create fake profiles, I would not recommend going to them, just as a FYI. And then if you really want to be cheap about it and try it out, there's probably a lot of joker brokers on the internet, Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever these joker brokers are, and they have fancy titles. Structured financing specialists. We funded $1 trillion. And another one I love this one. Direct mandate from Barclays. Fuck you. Barclays is one of the biggest banks in the bank. They don't need you to give a direct mandate to you. That's just bullshit. And then they give you a WhatsApp phone number. So, what you do with your time is your choice, for sure. This is an industry that I can testify that I love working at. If you want to learn about this topic more, as somebody who's dedicated over 10 years of his time to this, we score, I think, 4.8 out of 5 on Trustpilot. My industry scores 3.1 out of 5. We have 4.8. If this is an area that you want to study more, get into it, I want to tell you it's really worth it. I just want to tell you it's really worth it. You have to know and have some tools to avoid the fraud. I've done a lot of videos on the fraud. I will watch a lot of our videos for sure. We have comparison videos, watch our comparison videos. I have published some books, Structured Finance, Stemless Credit, Turning Paper to Profit. Getting a couple of copies of my book will not hurt you. We have some pre-recorded courses where we actually teach a group of executives, here's how we did this case study, here's how you can secure a contract internationally by using a standard credit. Here's how you can use standard credit to get a loan at 4x. Here's how you can get standard credit monetize it and get so much money, like case studies. So kind of like going to one of those courses will not hurt you. And then if you're ready, being able, like you're a credit investor, this is something you've committed to doing, you want to go down that path of rabbit hole, I will tell you I have 2,000 competitors or 20,000, 2 million competitors. Some of my competitors are really, really, really good people. Like I actually testify for that. Like good people at that. And then there's this kind of thing. I hope you find this valuable. If you did, and if you can be of help to you, we'd love to. Thank you so much.
I learned about project financing like a year ago, and I searched a lot about that. Very, very thorough throughout the internet. I had a lot of opportunity, I would say. Then I found Taimour, who said 99% of these were scams, which I got maybe, he opened my mind to what was the risk of trying to put my money in some sort of program that wouldn't be vetted. So I turned myself and engaged Taimour and his team to help me go throughout this. It gives us the door to enter to inner circle status of the banks that we don't get from anyone else.
Hi friends, I now want to take a minute and answer some of your frequently asked questions. One of the common questions I get a lot is, Taimour, we've learned a lot from you through your YouTube channel. How do we learn more? Can we fly down and meet your team? And the answer to all of that is yes, yes, and yes. If you want to learn more, my first invitation is to become a member of Allfunds Global. You simply go to our website, allfundsglobal.com. You sign up to become a member for free. You get access to webinars, offshore events that we do, and content that we never, ever, ever, ever publish on YouTube. I promise you that it's worth becoming a member for sure. The second way that you can learn a lot is I'm a published author. Structured Financing, Demystified, Hypergrowth, just multiple books on Amazon that you can get access to. I highly recommend going and checking out some of these books, getting engaged into some of the stuff, that strategies and tactics that we're using for ourselves, for our families, for our friends. You definitely want to check these things out for sure. Another question, I guess, Taimour, why are you so passionate about getting a bank license? Why is that so important? Well, the truth is, our mission within Allfunds Global is to help businesses become self-funded for life. Imagine you run a coffee shop and I run a coffee shop. Imagine we buy the coffee beans from the same drawer and my coffee shop is right across yours, like really right across yours. Our competition is probably nil. But if you have a bank license and I don't have a bank license, and let's say I made $500,000 and you made $500,000 in income, but if you have a bank license, you are depositing a bank license with the central bank of the country where you own your own private bank license. Let me repeat this again. You are depositing your money with the central bank of the country you have your bank license on. So $500,000 deposited with the central bank should give you a line of credit of 10 times multiples. So that means you get a line of credit of $5 million. Now it's not free money, it's a line of credit of $5 million. Now, if you draw that entire money out and you go to whichever country you're currently resonating in, the country you're doing business with, and you know in real estate, you want to buy a house, you put 20% down and you get a loan for 80%, same thing. You put $5 million down with a business plan to your local bank, whoever your bank with, and say, hey, I want to grow my business, my technology business, real estate business, pharmaceutical business, whatever business it is. I'm a venture capitalist. I'm putting $5 million down. Your bank gives you a loan at four times more, so now you get a $20 million loan. Now it's not free money, it's $20 million loan. What can you afford to do with $20 million that I cannot afford to do with $500,000? Could you invest in artificial intelligence? Could you invest in hiring better people? Could you invest in advertising? Hell, with that amount of money, could you even buy auxiliary businesses or invest in auxiliary businesses? I say you can, and that's why we within Allfunds Global are so passionate in helping clients become self-funded for life, and getting a private bank license is one of the vehicles that I am personally very passionate about helping clients on. Another question, I guess, Taimour, you charge a consultation fee. Alphonse Global, the team charges a consultation fee. Why do you charge a consultation fee when you guys can make so much money on the back end? It somehow slows me down from taking a credit card and paying you money for it. Well, here's the truth. We offer our content, millions and millions of dollars worth of content complete for free on YouTube. We don't advertise as of the date of doing this video. We don't advertise on YouTube, Google, or we don't do any kind of advertising at all. And what we find is the volume of traffic that goes into YouTube attracts people that are tire kickers, people that are fraudsters, people that have mental health issues. When we charge a small consultation fee, this deters the hacker, the fraudster, the person who's shopping around, the tire kicker. It eliminates all that and allows me and my team to be on calls or meetings with customers we actually want to do business with. What a concept. Now comes, this is better. At the time of doing a transaction with a client, that fee they pay for a consultation call, we refund it. At the conclusion of us doing a transaction with a client, we refund 100% of all the monies that they paid on consultation fees. This allows us to work with people that are committed to working with us, are serious about working with us, are not tire kickers, are not people that are like, they don't know what banking 101 is, and they're there to waste our time and energy. Just eliminates that. And me and my team are very proud of doing that. Next question, I guess, Taimour, the alternative funding industry overall has a lot of fraudsters in it, has a lot of deep fake in it. What are you doing to protect us, protect yourself? So here's the answer to that. Any industry that has a lot of money by default attracts a lot of fraud. Let me say this again. Any industry that attracts a lot of money by default attracts a lot of fraud. I don't know who you bank with. If you bank with one of the top 20 banks in the world, pick a bank you bank with, or you use payment processing companies like PayPal, these companies see a lot of fraud every day, from fraudsters mimicking their website to mimicking their email addresses, and in cases like mine, once a year or twice a year, some idiot, excuse my language, decides to copy my picture on social media, tries to create a fake profile of me, and goes on social media selling scammy transactions. Now, we have the technology and the resources to catch that, usually within 72 hours of that happening, and then cause legal action against that fraudster. We have the financial resources, thank God, to do that today, but that's just the nature of this industry. So what we do to protect ourselves is we never solicit on social media anything, nor do we solicit in general. We offer a lot of educational materials, but we don't solicit. You'll never see me or any of my associates on any social media trying to sell anything, ever. Second, all transactions that we do, money always has to go through a reputable law firm. All transactions we do, money always has to go to a reputable law firm. We never ask the client to send us money or anything like that. Now, I do want to take a minute and talk a little bit about my competitors. In the United States, in the US alone, US has 3% of the world's population, and they have over 60% of the world's lawyers. In the United States, that's a fact, have 3% of the world's population and over 60% of the world's lawyers. I have a lot of legitimate competitors in the United States and around the world that unfortunately have been sued for wrongful things that other people have done. There's a lot of negative stuff on social media or websites about some of my legitimate competitors. And I want to tell you that a lot of my competitors are legitimate, they're hardworking people. I know them, they deliver real results. And unfortunately, they have negative comments or fraud or even lawsuits against them. The reason within Alphonse Global doesn't have a lawsuit against it, or me, Taimour Zaman, don't have a lawsuit against me, or people on social media saying that we're fraudsters or something like that, is simply because of my lack of vision. Every company you deal with, every major company you deal with, whether it's the cars you drive, Ford, Lexus, I don't know, GM, or Facebook, Google, YouTube, whatever you use, or medicine you have, like Taimour, all of these companies have lawsuits against them. A lot of the companies you work with have litigations against them as just part of the growth. At some point, the business needs to grow exponentially, and that's when you have to see lawsuits as just the nature of the business growing. The fact that we don't have it is because of my lack of vision. as the CEO and like trying to bark a tree like that. Now, I see that changing as we buy businesses that have other CEOs, as we grow, we have over 800 registered brokers with us. As that number grows, it's not normal for our business to continue growing without some idiot calling us fraudster, some idiot trying to sue us, or something like that. If you want to take advantage of the alternative funding industry, I'm going to tell you this is the industry I love. I'm going to tell you this is the industry that I've made a lot of money with. I'm going to tell you this is the industry I've helped a lot of clients make a lot of money with, friends and family make a lot of money with. And if this is an industry you want to get involved in, I recommend meeting the people you want to do business with, like physically flying out to meeting them. If you can afford to hire an investigator, we use a lot of former FBI, former CI people. These are people you can hire to do background checks. It's not only do these people have lawsuits or not, or other losers calling them fraudsters or not. I'm telling you, a lot of my competitors are really good people, and they're not fraudsters. So like, do your own due diligence, listen to your intuition. We're really interested in working with some really good people that are vision-driven entrepreneurs that really want to serve the world. And I think we have some things that are really amazing to offer. Another question I get is, Taimour, we love all the services of Funds Global. What are the top 3 services you offer that we should really seriously think about, call you or your organization and get you guys involved? But my favorite service, the one that makes a lot of sense, is the trusted advisory service. This is when we become your chief banking officer. We work with your CFO, your legal team, the CEO, the COO. We look at where your organization is, where you want it to be. We look at banking programs that make sense for your type of business, that are proven and would work to generate access to alternative revenue sources for your business that makes sense. From that, we then create offshore tax structures, offshore bank accounts, offshore bank licenses for your organization, so the revenue that gets generated has a channel to go to that is well protected. We have a lot of domain expertise that I do not share ever on YouTube. It's not like a lawyer who's like, go create a trust account and cooks out it. Like we don't do. We do some very sophisticated stuff that I'm very proud of. That's our intellectual property. And so the trusted advisory services, where we become a trusted advisor, is one of the things that I would recommend everybody to look at. It's a monthly retainer, you pay for it, but let me tell you, for every penny you put in, that you get tens of dollars out of it. And I think you're not going to get this amount of expertise dedicated to your business. So that's something I would recommend you to think about and sign up for. Second one is, if you're looking for access to capital, we have a lot of unique programs like Rent a Rich Uncle that we can support your organization, as long as your organization is a successful business and not a startup, not somebody who's going bankrupt. It's a successful business that has real cash, real assets, and is generating something real, that's real growth. I think we have some avenues for accessing capital that others simply cannot offer. And the final one that I love is we have a lot of asset management structures that are very unique to our intellectual property that I love to share with you. If you have assets, you want to grow, you want to get bank license, you want to set up a trust, you want to work with multiple central banks, do some really cool stuff. I think I'm the only weirdest person that has real expertise and experience in doing this stuff. And so my name is Taimour Zaman from Funds Global. Thank you for following us up on YouTube. If you're doing that, thank you for trusting me. Thank you for trusting my team. And on behalf of my team, I just really want to say thank you. And we look forward to the opportunity of serving you.